This is a meeting of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. It's a work session for the Guam Power Authority. For the record, those present are myself, Commissioner Ntiaco, and Commissioner Martinez. And we have feedback. Okay, so John, the floor is yours. These are issues for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have 3 resolutions tonight for discussion, for your consideration and approval at next week, Tuesday's board meeting. The first resolution is 2022-27, and this is related to authorizing the use of grant for the energy efficiency upgrades at UOG of Business, UOG School of Business and Public Building Project under Siemens contract. Whereas we have a contract with Siemens as a utility energy service contractor, which allows us to contract with them and work with them to get grants. And whereas we did receive a grant award to GPA for 1.291938 million grant from DOE to fund upgrades at the UOG School of Business. And whereas the grant, again, it will be a true payment to Siemens, who will accomplish the work, warranty it, and do all that. The energy efficiency project that is the grant will cover would include upgrading to LED lighting, HVAC or air conditioning control retrofit, and about a 15 kV solar PV panel unit. And again, this is all to provide the UOG School of Business with reduction in cost. They're going to save about $500,000 I believe this is in projected savings, no, for this project. Because it's over my authority of 1 million. That's why I'll be asking the CCU to approve, so that I can award the contract to Siemens and the project and the grant can be implemented. No?
Okay.
So I'm open to questions.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, the resolution shows a realized savings over $500,000. Is that annual, or is that over the life of the?
I had that same question just in my mind. We'll get it. Francis, is this 500,000 over the life of the project, or total projected savings? Yeah, this is for that one building.
Total.
Yeah.
Yes, and what's the life of the expected life of the assets? Is that over 25 years?
Lower lives.
Okay. Okay.
And again, this is just for that one building, which is and then again being able to get the grant, which is zero cost to the university. This is 500,000 savings to them.
Is the grant was applied by UOB or
GPA?
GPA.
There's a lot that there is. This is not realized by everyone. No, is that GPA works with UOG, DOE, or other entities, even DPW or others, when they apply for grants. And in most cases, we take the lead because we're able to put in all the data, the information, the justification, the audits, and everything. So this is one case in point where we work through Siemens, who's a registered contractor on this, and they will do all the audits and then put a proposal together on that scenario. We've had several come in, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll bring that at a later meeting. We'll summarize a lot of the grants that we got for DOE, GW, Southern School, Agatha Johnson, a lot of schools that we upgraded the lighting to LED already, which means lower maintenance costs, better lighting, and lower energy costs for them. So this is all part, again, part of our demand side management program that we've been doing, other than the rebates, which are direct to the customers. We are working with government entities, and in fact, the other one is maybe coming soon will be the Air Force or the federal part of the federal entities. So again, it's allows us to do this under a utility energy service contracting scenario between the utility and its main customer. So yeah, this is and there's also another phase 2 audit that they are looking at, right? Another portion which.
This is phase 1.
Yep.
This is the one that they did. But after we started this project, more registered project for blue machines.
But they also have one that's already been given to them, so that what they have to do now is they have to come up with the financing for that portion. So if yeah.
Particular one is just for grant. There are others that are already. There's a total project more than this. With the UOG is getting loan.
Is working towards a loan to get to make UOG an efficiency through our same contractor. So once they get that loan and everything, then I will be coming back to you again to award it to them for that scenario. But so this is again how entities like UOG or others can get an audit done and a guarantee on that audit, and all of that. So this is how we've been working this to help these other entities, government entities, do it. And I was just talking to Graham, who talked to DOE, our interim superintendent, about talk about issues about getting grants for the DOE. Part of the problem is we don't know where do they go, or what are the entities that typically will give DOE schools grants. No, if we knew that, then we can put in like our $500,000 study that we did for the school, right? We can take portions of there and try and get grants, whether it includes solar PV, energy efficiency upgrades. So that's how we can continue to work the school. Once we can get into understanding what are the opportunities that are available to them. Right now, we don't really know, and stuff. But again, there's that opportunity that we're just talking about today to make that happen for DOE.
Yeah.
But again,
Commissioner talk.
So JB, how is a GPA for the work that they put into it? Is it just pro bono, or is it part of the grant goes to fund the cost recovery for it?
I'm not sure. Do any portion of the grant come to reimburse GPA for expenses?
For your work. For your work.
I'm not sure if this is next time we put it or portion in there. I have to check.
It's okay, it's on. Go ahead.
I'm not sure. I have to check, but usually we'll put in a portion, maybe about
Administrative,
5%, something like that, in this for GPA administrative.
Cost. Okay, Francis, for Tuesday night's meeting, please check and let us know
Okay.
exactly what it is, okay?
Yeah, and then how is Siemens paid? Is that so you put it out for bid and?
No, we had a bid already. We had a what did we have, Graham? RFP or what for a utility service?
Simmons was selected, and so what will happen is they'll do the preliminary audit, which is free to whether it's UOG or whichever Navy or whatever, and then if they decide to go forward with that, then they will contract with us as kind of the middleman for the work that they want to be done for the energy efficient projects. And so in this case, we're applying to part of they have a loan for the rest of it, But part of this, we're applying the grant that we got on their behalf.
So they do an energy audit free, and under the premise that they could get the project.
They could supply
awarded
the
to them.
controls.
Yeah, as a proposed, and so they're the ones that are at risk with all of this in the beginning, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, then they're very, as we all know, Siemens, no? Then they guarantee their work and their warranties and everything like that. So that's and so yeah, we went out. We need somebody to provide this service. Siemens was the one, and then it's like a 5-year contract or so. So within that period, they work with us. They go do different audits.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see whether we can get a grant, or the entity wants to fund the project, like UOG wants to fund the balance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's go, then it comes back to us and we administer it.
Yeah, I just want to point out for the commissioners who weren't here back then, but this came about when we were refunding, remember, Graham, one of our bonds? And the legislature asked us if we could do something to help the government in terms of becoming more energy efficient and putting in anything that will help them in terms of energy and clean energy. So that's when GPA said, okay, let's try and put together a program, and this is where this program started. So there are just more and more projects coming out from that program. So, it was a good thing. The legislature, in fact, later on one of the resolutions, you'll see the legislature always wants to ask us to tell them where our money, our savings when we refund our bonds are going. So that's one of the resolutions on the deck today.
So
But
it's
go ahead,
really-
John.
It's really good to note, that because of our expertise within
Right.
the agencies, opportunities like this are not available or won't come to fruition without our engagement. And so our goal is to help every customer that we have become efficient. As they become efficient, there is a we are
benefit.
noted for every $3 million of energy efficiency that we invest in energy efficiency over 7 years. There's a $21 million return. That $21 million return goes to the customer because that's a return in reduction in fuel costs. So then the rest of the customers
Everybody benefits.
get that benefit. See, under the LEAC. See,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's how our whole trust of DSM
Right.
is. We're moving in all the different areas and stuff, and then I believe all our grants have an administrative fee percentage that is provided to the entities that are writing the grants, administrators.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Next one, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second item that I have for you today is on the FY 2022-28, and this is concerning the replacement of the exchange of the turbine for the Machechi combustion turbine power plant. The power plant is 29 years old now, and again, it's used to address peak load. However, ever since the Cabos 3 and 4 explosion is also been using to provide energy on a regular basis because of that shortfall, no? So the plant now has over 26,757 operating hours, and really the service life of the machine is about 25,000. Then you have to get it refurbished or exchange it or do all of that. Is that you don't overhaul it like the other machines, because these are used sparingly, right? It's not like a base load, but because we've been using it for so much, we are now exceeding the life of 25,000, which typically takes 20 years to get to, but now it's a lot shorter time. So, as recommended by our PMC and as we have agreed, we told them to go out on bid for this, and there were 3 bidders. And the lowest bidder came in from gas turbine investment for 3.953,417.60 for the refurbishment and installation of the turbine. The other two bidders were 5.4 and 6. So we have a good price for refurbishment. So again, this is to request your approval. It's about my $1 million authority. Once you have approved it, we will send it to the PUC.
Okay.
The Machechi plant is still operating. However, we use it last use, meaning like now we're operating it. Other than that, then we let it sit. Just again we being precautionary. I think it will last longer, but again we're just being precautionary. So now it is being used, right? And so we want to. This will take us about 2 months, 3 months to get it done.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Commissioner Chalker.
JB, the resolution shows that the all services will be provided by Temis, but it looks like the award was to GTI, Gas Turbine Investments. Who is Gas Turbine Investments?
The way it works is that Temis is our PMC, so they're able to go out and contract with people to get things done within the power plant. That's the beauty of the PMC. So then they go on and they invite or bids from manufacturers that they believe could get the job done or available and all of that. So in this case, and we require them to do that so that we know that we got a good cost, just like as we going out in the market, right? So yes, that's why it is through Temis, but I have to Temis, they'll pay Temis, or Temis will pay them and everything. There is an administrative fee, about 5 or 10% or something like that, and then we pay Temis through the PMC.
Yeah. But what company, Gas Turbines Investments, have they done work with GPA before?
I'm not sure.
I think in the past they have, many years ago, 10 years ago. So we make sure whoever's replacing it is a licensed GE service center. That's the qualification to participate.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the way I say I'm not sure because several years ago, about 10 years ago, like Melinda is saying, we did replace this turbine also similarly, right? Machechi. After the first 25,000, we replaced it. I think at that time it fell, right?
It fell, yes.
Yeah. So we immediately got the approvals. We replaced it, and they may be the same group that did that.
Well, you can let us know on Tuesday night.
Yep. We'll double check.
Commissioner Martinez. Yeah.
So the new one is going to have a longer lifespan?
No.
Yeah, it would be zeroed out, a new machine, a used machine, rehabilitated and zeroed out for $25,000. The other alternative is just to buy a brand new one, which is way higher. So what they do is, in exchange, they'll take this one back, and they'll give you one, and then they'll take the one that they took back, they'll rehabilitate it, zero it out, and then if anybody else needs, then that's what they service. So that's why Melinda is saying there has to be a service, one is an authorized service center for this combustion turbine. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just the machine and the generator is still there. It's just that component. The whole power plant is still there. So we don't have to replace all of that. It's just the combustion turbine. Because what happens after 25 years, then fatigue comes in on the blades, and then if the blade breaks off, you break out other blades, and then you're in deeper trouble. Costs you more to get it repaired and everything. And so what they'll do is they'll fly in, or they'll ship in this unit. They pull out the old unit, put in the new unit. It's just like changing an engine on a car.
Diesel truck.
Yeah, you're just changing the engine. So it's quick. Don't take too long to get it done.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay. Last item, John.
Yes, Mr. Chair, FY 2022-29 relative to bond financing savings utilization. As we all aware, our bond refinancing will result in about a $10,056,536 annual reduction in debt service or mortgage, if you will, for our customers. For those who to try to relate to that, from year 2024 to 2034, and 4.297 for the years 2031 to 2034. So this is as a result of the refinancing that we did. So once we got the approval from the legislature, but also, and that approval was Public Law 36-80, and it did require for us to, within 90 days, report back to the legislature what the savings will be utilized for. And so I've always been noted the savings for this is really to help to pay for the new power plant, because the new power plant is gonna save us money in many various areas, including fuel. But we do have to pay the capacity fee, the O&M of that power plant. So we're restructuring our finances, and this savings will help us to alleviate. Because the major concern about the new power plant before was, we're going to have massive rate increases. But that's not going to be the case because of the efficiency of the machine. We're going to have a substantial amount of fuel savings, which will help offset the cost for the new turbine and still provide savings to the customer. So this is one of those savings that we plan to put into paying for the machine. No? So with that, again, subject to I think we.
No, you just
we
have
don't
to
have to
inform
go.
them.
We'll
Inform them.
authorize them to use it. However, we can inform the legislature that this is the plan. No?
Yeah. Graham, the law only required us to inform them as to the potential uses.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they wanted to know.
So instead of waiting 90 days, we can inform them at least. No.
We already know what we're going to do. Okay.
So
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
I'll do the GM report quickly, Mr. Chair. There's some items. I know quickly is a
Okay,
very
quickly is-
subject.
it's a relative term for you, John.
subjective thing, but
It's okay.
again, Mr. Chair, of course, when we get the other base load unit on all the units, we'll have 324, so we'll be okay in September. I do want to know that, the demand actually the past 2 months, because of all this rain has come down, which has been helpful. Actually helpful in 2 tenths for us to meet our load, and secondly, for our consumers, the average consumption of our customers are down. Remember in the beginning we said, hey, the rates are going to go up, but it's also the hot time of the year, so your consumption is going to go up. The consumption is not on the average going up, So, okay, next. I wanted to explain the beauty of what we have today, This is I'm sorry, I tried to fit in too much in one sheet, but this is the scenario of a 232 megawatt demand day, And in that day, this is the conventional units, the Mangilo solar, and the Gpa production. And then I put over on the side what happens when what capacity can we meet with 1 base load, 2 base load, and 3 base load unit, So then I want to show you our vulnerability period, so that everyone kind of understands why we're always talking 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or so at night. So if you look here, the solar comes on in the daytime. Here's Mangilo, the yellow, and then the tan is the Gpa 25. So the blue, we're meeting. So here's the period of time, the peak time. That's the period of potential load shedding. So that's why we're always putting out that schedule during that period of time. Before, when we don't have the KEPCO solar, anything goes, daytime. So that's another beauty of having the 60 megawatt now, is that really it helps us do maintenance or other things during the daytime because it's very consistent in coming on when the sun comes up and all of that, right? So again, so here's our vulnerability here in this case. Good news is that I believe the PD8 unit issue of the tripping and all of that has been resolved. Knock on wood first, if you don't mind. And so it looks like it's been running up at high load already for normally 6 hours later, boom, but it's been holding. So then we're working on Cabros number 2. They're doing the hydro, meaning they're pressurizing the boiler up to about 1900 psi, and then checking everything around to see if there's any water leak. No, if there's a water leak, we'll have to go in there repair that again. If not, then we'll fire the boiler. 10-12 hours later, we'll get on the line, and then So we took a lot of careful time to really try and identify what's been causing this unit. Every time we put it on the line, about 2, 3, 4 days later, ruptured tube. So I think we've done that. We've cut out a lot of tubes and stuff. So we've done something different. So we'll see how it comes on the line. If it stays on for a few days or a week, then I think you'll pretty much stay for a while. No?
John, this PD8, right?
Yeah, PD8 is done.
Is PD8 the one you already converted to diesel?
Yes.
Okay, so that's now done with the conversion.
Yep.
You're finding these little bugs and fixing them.
Yep.
And you're working on it. Is PD9 undergoing the conversion?
It's undergoing right now, and I believe by the end of the month or the first week of September, it'll be on the line also.
With the diesel?
With diesel. So
Okay.
no more RFO for
those two units?
for those 2 units. Now, the other thing about the PD8 and 9 is over the past several years, already 2 or 3 years, we have been investing into the plan because remember we took over, it's 20 years.
Yeah.
So we're recapitalizing it so that it'll last another 10, 20 years, no?
Yeah.
So part of it was changing out the exciter and all of that. And again, sometimes there's bugs that occur and it's taken under the normal course of action. Really no one really feels it or knows it. It happens. But when we're short, like 2 units, 3 units base load, everybody knows what's going on with the machine. No?
Okay.
We try to keep everybody informed. But
Okay.
so again, this is an idea, and then what we were trying to do with phase 3 was see this potential area. If it was available, phase 3, we had gotten it done way back, then we would have been shaving that peak, and there would have not been any load shedding.
This is the award that we
Yeah,
made, but it got
It got
protested.
protested and everything. Because
And after-
that was going to catch all that yellow in the day, it's production of yellow, and it was going to shift it to that period of the evening. So the next phase anyway, phase
We're gonna
4,
rebid, yeah.
is going to be the same thing. Yeah,
Shifting.
everything is shifting. We cannot, you see here, if we go too far down here, like this, we're going to have to shut down units. And then if you cannot bring it up, shutting it down is very inefficient also.
When you
So-
get Ukudu,
Yeah.
it works better.
But so I'll explain that in September when I
yeah.
come to you about the new plan. Understanding all of this, I like to say glitches. Come up with a plan now on renewables. How do we achieve our goal of 25% or more by 2025? No? I'll do that in September. We're working on that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions on this?
I do have some
Go
questions,
ahead.
John.
I'm
sorry.
On the glide path unit, how old is the glide path?
Glide path is now 2015 it started.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just been noticing like that it's unlike the newest unit up in Manila, right? It hits its maximum production, but none of the data here shows that it ever got to 25. Shows at 21.
I
21
think it's gotten 22, 23. You're right. It may not be reaching 25 anymore.
What was the contract for?
The contract is really on a minimum energy, and for 25 megawatt, but it's not you have to maintain 25 megawatt.
Yeah.
We know there's a degradation.
So is it showing its life now that it can't get to 25 now? It's like it's 84% capacity production.
So it still has to produce minimum of the life of the contract and minimum production of about 54 million kilowatt hours per year. So he could do that, you know, high and then low in periods or different thing. And then of course that means when it goes low, that means it's not up to 25 or 24, 20, 23. The difference is that's also our first contract, and that first contract did not even have battery in it, right? So therefore, it's just whatever you produce, bring it up. The good news in our second contract, KEPCO, is we have two 16 megawatt battery for 1 hour. So what happens is that they charge up the battery, and then as they charge it up and they get more, then they start releasing. So if you look at the production from them is a lot more even. They'll give us 40 for 2 or 3 hours, then they'll go to 60, 2 or 3 hours, then they'll back down. You know, it's very smooth and very easy to work with. I'd like to also note that we did ask them, can they extend the release of the energy past 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock to help us during this load shedding period, and they did. They got us low as far as 7 o'clock for 3 megawatts for an hour or so. So they, you know, so again, that's the value. Now, we had but that's because it's 16, 1 hour. See, the other batteries coming in the future will be say whatever 16 for 4 to 5 hours. So that's a lot of energy now that can see shift. So that's coming up. But so again, the first phase was
Our first trial.
Our first side. The second phase is a beauty now. The third phase is going to be beautiful, right? I hope.
Better.
Yeah,
Better still.
much
We
better.
hope.
Again, I like to knock on wood. Net metering, again, only about 5 came in this last quarter, no? Continue to make this next. Fuel oil, again, they've been coming down. To give you an idea, I think diesel went as high as 186. I think it's down now to about 134 or 141. So we're still not back to the $90 or so before, by around December. And so when this thing started climbing, and then really about February, March took off, no? But again, everything is going backwards. The WTI, which went as far as $125 a barrel, is down now to 88 this morning. But again, we don't know yet, right? Give it some time. Secondly, I'll show you later on with John Kim's presentation that the conversion to ultra and the getting away from high sulfur fuel, low sulfur RFO, no, has already begun. So we don't buy any more high sulfur fuel. We stopped that since June, I believe. We don't buy any more 1.19% low sulfur. We stopped that, I believe, and John has those dates here. The only one we're buying now is 0.2% sulfur, and I believe that shipment is going to be bought in September or so, or August or September. So we really don't have, we're burning out all of this other fuel. What we stop buying, we're burning it out. We have to burn it all out, so that by December we only have 0.2% for Cabras 1 and 2, and the ultra low sulfur diesel for 8 and 9.
And everything else.
So everything that which is a very complex, I have to say the team has been working real hard to make this happen. In between of all of this, right? It is moving in that direction. No? So again, then eventually we're just going to be an ultra low sulfur diesel. So again, that's where now you can start looking at perhaps how do you manage that cost of ultra low sulfur diesel, which John can explain. Right now, we're the fuel that we're buying, right? We're not buying anymore. So if you're gonna if you're going to try and leverage that, it's not going to work for us now. So it's a period. Okay, next. Okay, big one here is that we, the credits for July and August as per the public law to help our ratepayers as per the bill introduced by Senator St. Augustine and the law passed, no? Not signed into law. We already, on August 8th, we posted everyone's credit. And so even though they may not have received their bill yet to see that it says July 100 or August 100, it's already in their account. So if they go online and look, they already credited the $200.
Yeah, see, I got my bill, John, and I paid my bill, and the nice cashier said, "Oh, Mr. Duenas, do you want to change the amount because there's a credit?" And I said, "No,
Just
I'll
put it in.
take care of it next month." So
Yeah.
that credit will roll over,
That's,
and in my next bill, I'll get a lot more credit because I paid the full amount on my bill just a week ago
Yep.
when I had to pay my bill.
that's
Which
correct,
is
Mr.
okay,
Chair.
so.
That's correct. So the next bills will roll out, the next credit will
But
roll
the
out at the
credit will
beginning
just
of the
accumulate.
month. Yeah. It's $100 more per month for the months of September, October, and November. And again, it's rolls over. The only thing you can do is cash it out, but it'll still stay in your account, no? As a credit. Energy Sense program. Remember the rebate where the people to apply? They can apply online now, right? They can apply now so that it's easier for them. They don't have to come into the office and apply. Here's my air conditioning stuff. So all they have to do, we have the vendor set. They've set everything. Everybody apply online. Then we cut them the check. No? So that's the thing. Again, DSM. We're really, a lot may not be realized, but we're really helping the customers and all the customers that that are trying to achieve this. Next. Power plant updates. A lot of information, Mr. Chair, but let me just run to the pictures. Maybe that would next one here. You can see the foundation going up. No?
I know.
So
I was surprised, John, when we paid for the-
we'll do this, but we'd like to give you pictures every month so at least you
Sure.
can see the progress.
You
So
know-
what this RNA is the SSRG, which is a heat recovery steam generator, which is like the boiler, but it's a generator like your radiator in your car. No, so the radiator car, but this is heated up by the gas turbine coming out of the if a gas turbine or the exhaust. It's still about 900 degrees. So that runs into this heat recovery steam generator with water in it and produces steam, and then runs a steam turbine similar to Cabras 1 and 2. And then it produces extra energy for the same gallon of fuel that would have gone up into the air. That's why it's so efficient. No? So again, that's the foundations of all three. Remember, there's three of them because 3 units. And then they're going to generate steam and then feed one steam turbine, 60 some megawatt. No? Okay, next. When we talk about storage tank, remember we said 1 month supply? So that's about 100,000 barrels. No? So that, again, if anything happens, we still have 1 month supply of full load at that generator up in the north. So here's the construction going on, the cooling, so things are moving, no? Next.
Is
pipe.
John?
Yeah.
Is that
Commissioner Martinez.
the tank metal or concrete?
I'm not sure. I think most likely it might be metal.
Let us
But
know
then
on
there
Tuesday.
is, huh?
Let us know on Tuesday night.
Yeah. But then on there's what you call a berm. And that berm is built so that if anything happens to the tank, it is contained within that berm. Is that? So we'll double check. I think it's steel though. Here's the pipeline route. Work has been working. Again, this is another major component of this. Next.
What is the color coding here? Is the yellow completed and then blue?
No, I think that's the areas that they've been working on. No? As for that, and I guess next. which is shown here. So then at some point we'll have a chart. We'll have a chart where it shows already the completion of the pipeline. This area complete, so when we can see, when we look up there, it shows what maybe a green or whatever color shows. So we're showing our progress. No. Next. Risk management, hedging. Again, I'd just like to start out in the beginning and then let John roll through the end quickly. Again, our energy plan is renewable energy with energy storage, the new power plan, and again, clean fuel, ultra low sulfur diesel, and then going to natural gas to reduce our costs even more. And then all of this will comply with US EPA requirements. And what it will result with, despite doing all of this, is to lower bills for our consumers in 2025. No? And so, again, all of this is our plan, how we're trying to get LEAC down to where it's affordable and, most importantly, sustainable over time. Because the renewables are 1% escalators. So this one, 8.5 cents, will only be less than 10 cents in 25 years. So therefore,
25-year contract, John?
huh?
The KEPCO in Marble is 25 years?
25 years.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, I forgot.
Yeah, 8.5 cents, and I'll get you the exact number, but I believe when I did it, it's less than 10 cents.
At the
So
end of the
imagine,
contract.
so imagine that all the few adjustments that go, you're still going to have that savings throughout, right? So that's, again, this is part of what are we all trying to do for LEAC, right? How do we work to bring the customer's costs down? Remember, DSM helped them. On the bigger picture, this is what we've been doing, and we're heading on it. We're doing very well moving forward. No, next. So John, there's many other things that we do about hedging, no? Because there's a total concern that we should be doing this hedging and stuff.
Financial hedging.
Financial hedging, and there's various type of hedging. But what we want to show really is we're doing a lot hedging with the utility to keep our costs reasonably stable or with some cost saving. Because typically you do hedging and everything I've read is to try to stay within your budget and not get out where you have to, So it's not necessarily at all time a savings to the consumer, but more to keep it where you don't have to raise rates, no? But we do all kinds of hedging, including, John, if you can go through the rest, but as to maybe comment on the question of should we be doing fuel hedging right now, no?
Financial hedging.
Yes. And in the hedging, overall, hedging is one component of the risk management. So what we're doing is called risk management. So what we looked at was fiscal hedging and financial hedging. So we do hedges. The main focus we do right now is fiscal hedging. So we do inventory management. So normally we store between 30 to 90 days of fuels. So what we do is when the price is high, we wait. We look at the future markets and see when we could buy near when the downside. Right now, the RFOs, we're trying to buy it near when the price is lower, probably next week delivery. We were supposed to buy it earlier, but we kind of delayed that. So we actually save money by delaying the purchases. The other times we did is we buy diesel for 8 and 9 earlier in the year, so we could store it when the price was going up. So we actually got savings when we bought it in bulk. So we do bulk purchases to play with short-term gains. The other thing we do is we have with the suppliers, they do like 11-day average for us. So they do their hedgings to make sure we give us average price. Mm-hmm. And the other things we do hedging is renewables. We always stress that renewables would be a long-term hedge. As KEPCO, we have 20 years and 25 years and 1% escalator. So, and we also have wind. Other things we talk about was fuel diversity. Right now, we stopped purchasing RFOs. We're going to be purchasing percent RFO. Now that's priced near diesel. So it's not, we're not, the benchmark for pricing is on the diesel side. So eventually what we're looking at is LNG, where the LNG is much cleaner, less carbon dioxide, and cost is a little bit lower than diesel. The last one we do is called demand side management. And demand side management is part of hedging program, because if you bring more efficient appliances, consumers' power bill will go down, because I also reduces peak. And the whole purpose of ESN was to reduce our peak at nighttime, and it's supporting those. And we've been doing that for many couple of years already. So other things we do is part of the risk management. In the U.S., they call it rate stabilization fund. But we've been using our working capitals to smooth out the rate increases. So back in 2018, we held at 15 cents for a year and a half. There was a lot of fluctuation, but we were able to provide a steady increases. So from there, if you look in the bottom, it's under recoveries, goes up, goes down, and we were able to slow down the rate. Sometimes we do 3-step increases. We're using the working capital fund to absorb the rate increase. So we've been doing that, and that's part of the risk management. Other things, the things that cause the rate for us to increase, part of it has been fuel, but this year has been a transition period where we had to change the type of fuels. We discussed earlier, we stopped delivery of high sulfur back in April, and we also stopped delivery of low sulfur RFO in June. So pretty soon, eventually, we'll be burning a 0.2% RFO in either late October or early November.
But that's only for Cabras 1 and 2.
Yes, Cabras 1 and 2. One thing good about RFO is the heat rate is the same as regular RFO. So the amount of kilowatts generated per barrel is the same. But the price a little bit, you do have to pay a little bit more because it's a special refined product just for us.
So a case in that is 8 and 9 was converted to ultra sulfur, so they were getting like 17.9 kilowatt hours per gallon. Now they're getting 16.3 because there's less BTU in a diesel. The RFO will continue. It just means the price went up, but at least you didn't suffer on the heat rate portion. And we have to be in compliance by December 31st. So again,
John,
we're on our way.
I understand the program, and I think it's a good thing. I've been here, Simon's not here, but I've been here for the longest, and I used to remember Randy Wiegand, we used to argue about financial hedges, and we haven't done financial hedges in, I think since you've been here, John, we haven't, and even before then. And even when Randy Wiegand was our CFO before, did financial hedges, it was like on 20% financial hedge or 50, but never the whole thing. One of the problems with financial hedges, or two of the problems, is one, we're not that big an entity where we can take full advantage of doing that. And the other thing, the bigger problem is you actually need a lot more people involved in doing financial hedging, and that kind of talent we don't have with us. And most utilities our size don't do financial hedges. They do the physical hedging that John Kim described earlier. So I think we're doing the best. Even big companies, I remember when the price of fuel dropped. This is back in, I forget when, but United Airlines, for example. The airlines are big fuel users. United Airlines didn't hedge, and they rode the price of fuel down and enjoyed the savings. American Airlines had hedges, and they lost money. They had to pay on their hedges. And that's what people don't understand. A hedge doesn't guarantee you savings. It's a bet. And I used to argue with Randy. I said, we're not good bettors. We don't have that talent that we know how to manage the market, and we're not that big where we can play, for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I think we do the best thing, and for utilities our size, we're doing the right thing. So
The other thing needs to be added when we're comparing to the apples to apples comparison, no? Not many areas have 30 to 90 days tankage.
right,
If you don't have the tankage, right, then you're subjected to a monthly
Yeah.
or a daily or whatever change when you pull
right.
it.
That's the other part.
But because we have 90 days, like John says, they try to buy it at the best time.
Yeah.
Then that, even they went up and down during this period until we buy another tanker, it doesn't impact us.
Yeah.
So now we're riding the wave down so that we're going to wait as long as possible to buy the next tanker. So that's a significant
That's where we
part.
save.
Yeah, save.
And that's something we can manage better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The next slide, as the chairman mentioned, we did review our hedging policies and process, and what the consultant said is we're too small to have the manpower capacity to do any financial hedges. So what they recommended was that we look at outsourcing, because to have a hedging team, you need to have a front office, middle office, and end office. So front office are the one who actually does the trade, going to the market and get the pricings. And the middle office are the risk management, who reports to the board, the CFO, also the GM. And the end office are the one who actually do the analysis and generate reports. So we don't have that kind of departments to be in actual financial hedge. And most small utilities don't have one. They don't have the capabilities. So what happens in APPA, they created a consulting firm called the Energy Authority, TEA, and they're part of the APPA, and they provide service for 50 public power companies like us. So so our consultants say you should engage them. So we've been talking to them, and since they've been providing power services, it's this like not just financial aid, but also the risk management policies and process, and also review and analysis. So we've been discussing with them. They're working on a proposal. Apparently, they have to get approved by higher ups, and that makes some time. Probably early September, they'll give us a proposal. How much would it cost? But part of the thing is they do risk management, portfolio management. They look at our inventories, process it. What can they do to improve it? One thing about Guam is we're kind of unique. We're government. We also have procurement laws we have to follow. So they'll have to review that. The other thing is they have to do, what they're going to do is called modeling, see if financial hedging even works for us. So they'll give us their own simulations. So that's a process. Doesn't mean we're going to do actual hedging.
Yeah.
It just means we're just going to look at it, analyze it.
You always analyze what's going on.
Yes.
But I remember when I went to APPA, that's one of the things I learned,
Yeah.
that you're too small.
Yes.
And John pointed out, I forgot the other advantage that GPA has is the tankage. Because we're an
Yes.
island, we're so far away. In the mainland, a lot of the small utilities are hooked up directly to a pipeline. And all they do is buy from the pipeline. And somebody
the
else
price
is.
varies
And the price varies like mad. So they don't have control of saying
So they try
storing
to
and
hedge it
buying.
and
Yeah.
they can, yeah.
So, I think we've done a good job. I know that whenever times get tough, everybody's looking for something. But sometimes you don't want to look for things that cost you more money. And that's the thing that scares me. Hedges are not cheap. You have to pay somebody. There's a cost involved here.
Yes.
It's not free. But anyway, John, you can explain.
Yeah, that's correct. Like call options, you do have to pay a premium. Last time we looked at is even doing the 15% is almost like $1 million per month. So it really depends.
Yeah, no.
It's like anything is a safety net, and you do have to, like it's insurance, you have to pay premium for insurance. Now, lastly, people were looking at the following slide. It's like oh, it's just a magic bullet that freezes the rates. The war in Ukraine was unexpected, and when we had a global supply shortage of diesel was kind of unexpected. If you look, were we the only ones impacted? We looked at other islands. We looked at last year, September 2021, and August. We looked at other islands at Hawaii, and they had the same problem. They also increased rates compared to last year. But still, GPA is the lowest rate in the Pacific Islands.
It's very, I mean, again, John just showed that despite all the changes, high frequent, I mean, before we were 20-some cents a kilowatt hours where everyone was in the 30 to 40. Now, okay, we're at 35 cents, but everyone is in the 40 to 60 cents a kilowatt. Can you imagine we had 60 cents a kilowatt hour? I don't think I'll be here, no? So I just want everyone to know, I mean, this is a telltale, this is saying that, you know, we've kind of hits our costs. Because if it's not, then we will have, that graph will change. GPA will be up here versus the others, but we'll be maintaining the thing. So
Well, the
that's
other
all
thing,
we have.
John, just so we're clear, the other thing is in Hawaii, the islands, except for the island of Maui, are controlled by Hawaiian Electric. And Hawaiian Electric, back about 5-6 years ago, did something they call decoupling the rate. So when they decouple the rate, they remove the relationship between how much you consume and how much you pay. And they said, basically, we're going to get whatever money we need. And so the lower rate users ended up paying more. I have a condo in Hawaii Kaian. I can tell you, when I'm not there, I'm still paying a lot. It can be as high as 40 cents a kilowatt hour for the first ban because of the solar rooftop that they have. And they got the PUC there to do that, to decouple their rates. I never went for that. That's another one that Randy and I argued a lot about. He wanted to decouple the rates. Would have been good for GPA, but it would have been horrible for our ratepayers. So, you know, these lessons, we move a little slow sometimes, but we're very, in my opinion, GPA is very judicious in what we do. So that, you know, but I can tell you, that's why the Hawaii rates are going nuts. The Kauai system is a little bit better. Their problem is they didn't do the repowering of generation when they started their renewable projects. And John, we went, you and I went there with Simon. The two commissioners weren't with us at the time, but we went to Kauai, and their only problem is they didn't have in 2008, our IRP said you need to repower generation. And then also talked about fuel diversity and LNG and all that stuff. And that's what we're doing right. And they got that wrong. But now they're turning around over there.
To try and do something.
They're trying to do more of that. Anyway, thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, just one.
Sure.
On that reduced days of storage when prices are high, can you just explain that?
Reduce.
Yes, what we do is, because on a monthly basis, Cabras 1 and 2 burns about 100 kBs of fuels. So when you have 90 days, if you delay the purchases, that means your storage capacity goes shrinks every month.
So we float between 90 and 30, no? We have to make sure we have 30 days at minimum, no? And so if the pricing, you know, we try to wait a little bit when the fuel committee goes through this and tries to figure out when's the best time to buy, based on the consumption trend and all of
So
that.
we're paying storage,
No, we own the
we own the
storage.
storage. No, think of it this way, Commissioner Martinez. You have a car, but instead of a 20-gallon tank,
You got
have
a
100-gallon tank.
gallon, yeah.
So now, when the price of the fuel goes up at your gas station, you keep
wait.
driving,
You wait.
and then you wait. And then when the price
Drop
goes
it,
down,
fill it
you
up.
go in and fill up your 100-gallon tank. That's the difference.
okay.
Cars all have the same 20-gallon. We're different. Unlike the other small utilities in the States, they only have the 20-gallon tank. We have the 100-gallon tank.
So therefore,
we have
we
a
have
little
that, weight.
The ability to do that.
Try and get the best price to minimize the cost to the consumer.
Okay.
Increases savings.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it,
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, unless there are any
Any
questions.
questions? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We're adjourned.